Well, hello everyone. If you would like to see my makes for the week, stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to anyone who's new and welcome to my regular subscribers. It's lovely to have you here. Now I've made a few makes this week. Oh, first of all, I should tell you what I'm wearing because I always forget. This is the Singular top, which you can do a top or a dress for it, from Corset. And this is actually the blouse version. And I'm just wearing it with a pair of ready-to-wear denim shorts. Now on to my makes for the week. I have been pretty busy. And the first thing I made was the Maison Fauve Palma top, which is this top here, and it has the pleats in the back. Now it is in English as well as French, and I was going along perfectly well and then noticed that they do have a sew along. So I looked at the sew along and realized that I had made a mistake in it. So this is the fabric that I did it in. Now this fabric is a viscose twill, and it was called Urban, and it's a My Dress Made fabric, so it's beautiful fabric. And I bought it from the Dahlia Society. So here's the top. I will pop in photos of it. But as I said, I was going along perfectly well, and I had made this pleat here. So this is stitched down here. Let's just see if it's better with the light on. Yeah, the camera does not like this fabric at all. Well, it's magenta and navy anyway. And so it's got these back pleats here. And so I had made the pleat, and you stitch the pleat here along that line. And then I just pressed it down so that the pleats could flap open. And then I thought, by the time you leant back on something, those pleats wouldn't be there anymore. So when I watched the sew along, you actually stitch them down. So this is stitched down as well. So a very nice top, very nice to wear, fairly wide, a back yoke with a little split and a tie, but if you didn't want to do the split and the tie, you would easily be able to get this over your head. I don't need to undo that bow to get it on. But really happy with the fit of the neck on this. And I only had it tied up to there. You can always make the neck a little bit tighter if you want. But sits very nicely on your collarbones here. So really happy with that make. And that was the Maison Fauve Palma top, which is this one, and I made the straight size 2. Now I went off, their sizing goes from a 0 to a 5 in this pattern, starting at a bust of 76 for the 0 and finishing at a bust of 136 for a size 5. And it says it's made for a height of 1.65 meters. So I made the size 2 because that was for a bust of 96 to 102, and my bust is 100. So it fell practically in the middle of that. So really happy with the sizing, certainly not undersized. So I made it much shorter than it was. I only had a meter of this fabric. And so I shortened the pattern by 5.5 centimeters to get it out of this fabric, because I really wanted it in this fabric. And when I measured it, the length it would be, and I measured from my shoulder down to the length it would be, it was plenty long enough for me. It's really made for a taller person than I am. So really happy that I was able to get that top out of this beautiful fabric. The fabric is so lovely. So that was my first make. Then I made another Abbey dress. Now this is an Abbey dress by Wardrobe by Me. And here it is here. I will pop some photos in. I'd have to say this is my favourite dress of 2024. Absolutely love this dress. Now it's in a very different type of fabric than the first one I made was. This is the Atelier Brunette Ekko viscose. And it's a much heavier type of fabric than the first one I made. So this is the first one I made, and you can see a much lighter weight fabric than this one, but still loving it. Because the first one was so long, and I wanted this for a day dress, not for a caftan type of dress, I took 26 centimeters off the length, and that brought it to really just below my knee or at my knee, which is how I wanted it to be. And I make the size 10 in this pattern. Now the only other adjustment I did was I brought the V, the bottom of the V, up a little bit higher so it wasn't as revealing. I think I sewed up the first one after I'd done it because it was a bit low. Really happy with this dress. Nice pockets, and I think it will be a fabulous daytime dress. So I'm calling this the midi length dress, whereas this one is really a maxi length dress and a bit more of what I would wear as a caftan style, like in the evening. Now, because I had some of this fabric left over, I decided that I'd make it into a top. So this is the top part of the Paloma jumpsuit by Nerida Hansen. It is the pattern I've been using to make all of my sleeveless tops. Can't believe how many sleeveless things I've got now. For someone that never wore sleeveless, you just have to accept that that's what your arms look like, and that's what they look like. Loving this top because this is beautiful, beautiful fabric. Really, really nice fabric. Now the last one I made of these, okay, I found the first one and it was in the ironing. And so it's not ironed. Does feel a bit softer since I've washed it. Because this one was really, really short and I added on these pieces onto the end, I actually added onto the pattern. When I did this one of my pattern pieces was shorter than the other. The back was shorter than the front. Hence why it's got a split where this is the back and this is the front. So when we look at the side split, they're different heights, which is okay. We're calling it a design feature. But because of that, I extended my back bodice by 6 centimeters and my front bodice by 4 centimeters, so I didn't need to add any more on, and I was able to get that out of the fabric that I had left. Now I've been going through scraps of fabric, seeing what tops I can make out of it, piecing pieces together. I've got so much fabric that I've got 80 centimeters of. Well, if you look at things like the vetiver top, which has got a front panel, which you can do it as button up or you can place it on the fold, and it's got princess seam, so it's got front side panels, it's got back side panels and a back piece as well, where you can piece together a lot of different fabrics and use them up. And it also gives you the opportunity to maybe cut it in the other direction, and I don't mean on the cross, like not on the bias, but just cut it in the other direction. So I've been piecing together a few pieces of fabric I've got like that, but that was, I'm going to call it a Paloma top from now on, even though I really would quite like to make that jumpsuit. Jumpsuits are just not suitable for wearing anywhere, because you've got the whole toilet thing going on and you have to be able to take your clothes all the way down. And if your toilet doesn't have a hook on the back of the door, you're trying to hold your handbag, your clothes, so nothing touches the floor, it can all just be a bit much. So that was that make, and I was really happy that I was able to get that out of it. And in fact, I hadn't made the bias binding for the sleeves, and I had to go through my rubbish bag to make that up. That's how little fabric I had left. So I was really pleased that I could use all of that really good fabric. Next thing I made was the tulip dress. So this is the tulip dress by So Different. Now, I'd seen Christine from Gemini Stitches make a few of these dresses and they looked lovely. So I thought I'd give it a try. Now, I used a fabric that I probably wouldn't normally use. It's certainly not colours I would usually wear. And the dress worked out really, really well. So I made the size US 12, which is a UK 16. So when we're looking at the sizing, it starts at a UK 8 or a US 4. And the bust for that size is an 84. And it goes up to a UK 26 or a US 22. So pretty good sizes, and a bust of 128. So my bust is 100, and 100 was the size 16 UK and the size 12 US. And they also have, besides the fact that they have imperial measurements on there as well, which is really good, they have the finished sizes as well. So the size 16, which is going off the UK sizing, the size 16 finished bust measurement is 104. So I knew that I would need to go at least the size 16, because 4 centimeters is not a huge amount of ease, but it fits perfectly. And I tell you what I do like about this pattern. So this is the fabric. So as you would all know, that's not very me at all. And it was in a pack that I bought. Now, it's a beautiful fabric. It's a Holly Sanders 100% cotton. And I have got it in a lot of other colorways, but I didn't want to use up all the colorways that I would usually use in what I was calling a twill. It'd probably be actually a really good dress to do gardening in, because it won't show so much dirt. And it'll probably look really glamorous with gumboots on, I'm sure. But what's great about this dress is it's got a shaped shoulder. So when you look at the shoulder here, you can see that it comes to not really a point, but it goes along straight and then it starts to come down. So it's a bit shaped. Now you can see it in the image here, and that just so happens to fit perfectly on my shoulders. So I really think I made the exact right size, because had I made it bigger, it probably it might have started further down where it dropped down. So it's a lovely pattern and it's really well designed. The other thing is the back facing. I'll turn it inside out so you can see. So this is the back facing, and it's stitched down. I absolutely love the facing. It's so good and very well designed pattern, because first of all you stitch down the front. And when you stitch down the front, you're not stitching it a long way out, although you could. You're actually stitching it here. I don't know if it's 1 centimetre, 1.2 centimetres by the look of it. And so once you've done that, then in a separate stitch, you stitch down this back facing. I really, really like that, because the reason I don't really like facings much, she says as she faces everything, is because they come out when you put it on. So I do like a facing if it's stitched down. And that's especially for armholes. When you put facing in armholes, if it was like this and only stitched really close here, sometimes if you looked in the mirror at the back, you would have that bit sticking out here and you'd have to tuck it in. Once it's tucked in, it doesn't come out again, but just something I find quite annoying. So this dress, as you can see, I was going to say it's balloon shape, but it's not really. It is tulip shape, and that's why it's called the tulip dress. Now it's got a separate section down here. If you go and look at Christine from Gemini Stitches, she has made a few of them, and she's made a particularly beautiful one in quilting cotton. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's got a coordinating fabric in the bottom section. Now I actually made this one, and so I put a bias strip around the sleeve. If you look really hard, you can see she's got that red bottom part of the dress there, and she's also got a red trim on her sleeve, but you can also have long sleeves if you want. Very nice pattern. Now I have made so different patterns before. The only thing I could say is the pockets are down really low. So they're calling that a cap sleeve. It's really a grown-on sleeve, but that shaping in the shoulder, I think it makes all the difference. The pockets are down really, really low. That's assuming I've put them in the right place. So that is the dark there. But it never tells you to finish off this piece here. And I didn't particularly want to cut it open, because then I think cutting it open, you'd still have to overlock it. It's going to make it even bulkier. So next time I make it, I will, like, that does get covered with the pockets, but next time I would just finish that off. The bit of overlocking, I think. But very nice dress, and one I will make again. This is quite a heavy cotton to have made it in. So it says, oh well, I guess this is a mid-weight fabric. It's not a heavy fabric, but it's a mid-weight fabric. Cotton, linen, denim, needle cord, lightweight wool and scuba. So it wouldn't be suitable for your fine viscose, but I think it would be fine. I think it would be okay to make it in a viscose of this weight, because it has got some body and structure to it. Because if you felt this viscose, you would think that it hadn't been washed yet. So it does feel like it's got a lot more body in it. Obviously, they wouldn't want you to make it in a fabric like this. That's a much lighter weight fabric. Really happy with this dress. And what I've got written in my book is that it's a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, which you've got to watch, because so many independent pattern companies have got 1 centimetre seam allowances these days. It's something that I usually write on the outside of my patterns. For instance, on the Abbey dress, I've got written that it's a 1 centimetre seam allowance. On the Palma top, I've got that it's size 2 and it's 1 centimetre seam allowance. That way, when I pick it up, I know straight off the bat what it's going to be. And the last thing I made was a Naya T Shirt. Now, this is some black. You'll be able to tell that it's slinky. slinky jersey that's from goodness only knows where and goodness only knows how old it is. So that's the Naya T Shirt. And so long since I've made it, I couldn't remember anything about it. But really happy with it, and I make the size 10. Hemmed it on the cover stitch machine. So not sure how long this fabric will last, but I was just testing it out to make sure that it was a t-shirt that I wanted. And I must say, I do need a few in other colours. So possibly a green one or a purple one. So I'll have to look around for that fabric. Very easy make. You know, you can whip those up in no time. I did finish the sleeve bands off the way they said, which was, you know, overlocking it all the way down to the bottom and then pulling that overlocking thread back through, which is how you finish off overlocked that goes to the very ends. And I don't think I'd do that again. I think I prefer to join the sleeve band and then stitch it on in the round, because I don't really like the way that looks, that going off the edge. I know that lots of, and quite frankly it's under your arm so no one would see it, but it's just neater if I do it the other way, the way you would usually do a top, but it does take more time. So I can see a few more Naya T Shirts in my future. What have I cut out? I've cut out a Bestie Bag. That's what I'm going to be on to next. So I'm going to be making a Bestie Bag in this beautiful fabric. And I only had 1/2 meter of this fabric and I could get the bag out of it. So, and the lining is really, random pieces of things I had. So stay tuned for that one. I'll let you know how I go. But I think that's a pretty easy sew. I was surprised at how much I got made this week. Naya T Shirt's really quick, which is the tulip dress by Sew Different Patterns. Probably took me the longest because I hadn't made it before. The Paloma top, I've made heaps of those. And the Abbey dress by Wardrobe by Me I've made before. Oh, that's not true. This probably took me longer than the tulip dress. And this was the Palma top. Very nice pattern. Very nice pattern. I had to play a bit of, I really want this top in this fabric and I don't have enough game, but managed to get it all out. You'll see that the yoke is running in the opposite direction. So the yoke's running horizontally and the front and the back sections are running vertically. So that's how I managed to get it out of it. So that's all from me today. I best go and put all the blinds down. It's going to be 37 degrees. It's 10:30 and it's already 32 degrees. So starting to get hot in the house. Better put all the blinds down and the air conditioners on. Everybody have a wonderful sewing week. I am going to my sister's on Saturday and then to my daughter's place to look after my grandchildren next weekend. So maybe I'll bring you some footage of when we take the kids to the beach. So everybody have a great week. Please like and subscribe. I see heaps of people watch my videos that are not subscribed. In fact, over the Christmas break, a lot of new people came up on my YouTube feed, and now I'm following, as well as all the other ones I was following, I'm following a lot of new people, and I noticed that some of them only have like 1,000 subscribers. Ones that I find that have got fabulous content, I'll let you know about them so you can follow them too. Everybody have a fabulous week. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.